everyone, my name is Danny. Welcome to Jones Vibes. I just got out of Karate Kid Legends. This is a brand new addition to the Karate Kid franchise starring Jackie Chan, Ralph Maacchio, and Ben Wang. And honestly, the Karate Kid franchise is something that I grew up with. I love these movies. I even like the reboot with Jackie Chan, like the Jaden Smith, Jackie Chan one. I thought they did a great job with that movie, and seeing that they made another one made me excited. I didn't really check out the trailers that came out on it, so I didn't know much going in. My biggest concern was that hopefully like the knowledge that I had of the first one and the reboot could carry over, and I didn't have to watch Cobra Kai, because I didn't watch Cobra Kai. So again, that was my big concern going into this. I was just hoping that it wasn't like one big story that was leading up to this movie and I just missed everything leading up to it. But that wasn't the case. It really wasn't. That's a word of advice for you guys. If you haven't seen Cobra Kai, you can absolutely watch this movie. I would recommend maybe watching the very first Karate Kid, and I think watching the reboot with Jackie Chan is a good idea. So I was set up for success. I went into this movie, I just checked it out, I just got out of it, and man, I'm really disappointed in this film. I think upon sitting down, what I was hoping for was one of two things. I was hoping it was either just like a nicely restructured version of the original one or the reboot, because they always follow that same Karate Kid structure, you know what I mean? New kid, new town, some sort of love interest, some sort of bully, some sort of karate tournament, you know what I mean? Like the step-by-step process. Or I was hoping that it would be just like something really fresh and unique and different, and maybe it wouldn't follow that exact formula. What ends up happening in this movie is they do both of those things. They made a very stereotypical Karate Kid movie, maybe the most stereotypical Karate Kid movie that's ever been made, and I'm not saying that that's a good thing by any means. That doesn't mean it's the best. It actually means that it's not that great. But then they also take this whole other plot and they shove it into this movie, and none of it really makes sense. When it comes to sports movies and the Karate Kid franchise in general, I just want to feel something. You know what I mean? I want to feel something in the end when the kid ends up kicking the bully's ass and you're like, yeah, man, that was great. But this movie did not make me feel anything, because I was so on edge about how disjointed the entire thing was. And I was talking to a YouTuber friend and a fellow creator, Sean Chandler. We're talking about it afterwards, and he really opened my eyes to a fact, and that is that this movie was made by SONY. And not to pull from him too much, I don't know if he's going to say this in his review, but this movie, it felt like the Kraven the Hunter of the Spider-Man franchise. It just felt like Sony took everything that they thought people liked about the Karate Kid franchise and they threw it all into one movie, and they just thought that people would come out to the theaters. And maybe people will come out to the theaters and enjoy this. I encourage you to go see it, because at the end of the day, it's not that bad of a time. It's one of those movies that's so bad that it's almost good. Like, I found myself enjoying it purely because I was laughing at how freaking cheesy it was, how over the top goofy it was. But for me, that kind of comes back around in the end and turns a bit into disappointment, because you'll find out if you watch this movie, pizza somehow plays a prominent role in this movie. And just using that as a metaphor, what disappoints me is that all of the ingredients for a really freaking good Karate Kid movie were here. Everything was there, but the entire thing felt thrown together. The entire thing felt smashed together, and even with a longer runtime than some of the other movies in the franchise, it felt like they didn't have enough time to flesh out the stuff that they were going for. And when you're bringing back Ralph Maacchio and Jackie Chan, bringing back these icons of the franchise, you gotta go big. You gotta give those characters the moments that they deserve, but instead they use them as just sort of gimmicks. And there's a lot of moments in this movie where they're paying a lot of attention to them, but you're not getting anything from the characters. You're not getting anything new. And then on the other side of it, the main character is just falling to the side, and you're not learning anything about him. And I do feel bad for the main kid, because he was freaking awesome. I just think if this thing had a better script, we could have gotten so much more out of it. Also, the fight sequences, man. When movies like The Karate Kid, the one with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, exist, when movies like the original Karate Kid exist, or Warrior, or Creed, we know that a fight sequence can be really well done. Or even looking at the Rocky movies, like, you feel something in those fights. But what happens in this is a very common thing with fight fight sequences when a director maybe just isn't ready for it. It's very chopped up, and you can see that all of the cool choreography is there. It's happening. Everything that the actors trained for is happening there somewhere, but the camera just gets way too involved with everything to where it comes across just as blurry, whereas you could have just set the thing up in like a drone or just a super wide shot and shown what was happening, and I think the audience would prefer it. But they decided just to go this weird route. They also add a bunch of animation on top of things, and they expect you, I guess the main thing is they expect you to feel something, and if you're like me, you probably won't, because you're laughing at how absurd a lot of this stuff is. Again, perfect comparison, Kraven the Hunter, this new Karate Kid, even though I think Kraven the Hunter was much worse than this movie is. Also, side note, we need to talk about the bad guy really quick, because there's so much cheese going on within this movie, and he is a big part of it, but it is one of those performances that I hope you guys do get out and see this movie, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it, because he plays such a good bully, but it's so over the top. All of that stuff is so over the top that I don't know if I liked it or not, but I kind of love it. It was giving Never Back Down vibes more than Karate Kid, if that makes sense. If you've seen Never Back Down, I think you can understand what I'm going for there. The bully was actually kind of good. Actually, I think I like the bully. But in an effort to just seek out some positivity here, it was nice to see Jackie Chan on the big screen. It was really nice to see Ralph Macchio in this movie. I also loved how much respect they paid to the original and how much they brought that into the plot. It's centered around Mr. Miyagi and then the other family and bringing kung fu and karate together. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And when it comes to me and nostalgia, like, that's the stuff that keeps me invested. That's the stuff that keeps me watching. And so at the end of the day, I didn't have that bad of a time. I think there's some fun to be had here. Just when it comes to the music that was chosen for this movie, how all over the place everything felt, and also like the older boxing strange plot line that they added to this thing. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. This wasn't the best movie of the year. This was in no way the best Karate Kid film. I think this is bar none the worst Karate Kid film that they've made, and I'm sorry to say that. I love you, Jackie Chan, and I'm sorry to the director. I think that this just wasn't the project for him. I really don't think this was a good choice. But yikes, man. There's not much else to say. I will give my Jones Vibes star rating. I'm giving this movie 2 out of 5 stars, and that's actually a pretty high 2 out of 5 stars. I'm being generous here. But head down to the comments section and cram in your comments like they crammed in Ralph Macchio in this movie, and let me know what you thought about Karate Kid Legends. But most importantly, my friends, make sure you keep up the good vibes. I'll see you in the next video. Peace!